As usual, today, welcome to another MikroTik Technology Academy webinar. Okay, and today I akan share with you on a VPN setup. Okay, so one of the feature in MikroTik is you can do VPN. Okay, so I will not talk about the concept of VPN a lot, just a brief introduction to VPN. So when you're using MikroTik, okay, you can have a VPN, which is a virtual private network in your environment. So to make it simple to understand what is VPN is you want to have a secure tunnel across the public network so that if you have for example, you have multiple location using MikroTik and you want to access from one site to another site securely. All right, you want to access the local network, private network of the other side. So that's when you use VPN. Okay, so your data is encrypted and secure over the tunnel. Okay, so you imagine like you are on the site accessing the local network, but actually you are remotely accessing the network. Okay, like for example, from your home you want to access your office network. Okay, so you use the VPN. Right, so this is what VPN is. There is a lot of VPN protocol commonly used. Usually people use the easiest one, L2TP, right? PPTP. You can also go for more secure like SSTP, where you need the certificate. Okay, also you can use open VPN. All right, you have that in MikroTik, right? If you see in the MikroTik, all right, under the interface you can see you can have, yes, PPTP, you have SSTP, L2TP, so you can have a lot of VPN types in your network, right, depending on your requirement. Okay, but for today I would just want to show you on the PPTP encryption for the VPN. Okay, so usually when a lot of people use PPTP in MikroTik. All right, so you can have two methods of using VPN. So the first one is client to site. Client to site is the client is your workstation like a PC, your phone, and connected to the VPN router. Okay, the other is site to site. Site to site, you need to have MikroTik router in each of your location. All right, so depends on how you set up. So you can have the remote client or you can have a site to site with PPTP VPN. Okay, so let us just go through a simple setup. Okay, let's say I have this diagram. Okay, so you just ignore the IP because this one is I'm not going to use this IP. I just want to show you the diagram. Okay, let's see if I can zoom. I cannot zoom. There, just okay. Okay, so let me just let's say we have this example. Okay, you have site A R1 router, and then you have another router R2 router on the other side, another location. Okay, so your 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 purpose is to, let's say you have one workstation on the R2 router. So this PC, you want to access the network on the R1 router. Okay, and on the R1 router, they want to access the network on the R2 router. So what you need to do is you need to enable the VPN tunnel, all right, so that you are accessing over an encrypted tunnel and it's more secure. Okay, you are going to the public over the PPTP tunnel. All right, so this is the simple setup of VPN. All right, the same thing if you, this one is side to side. If you are using client to side, is the similar thing, except that instead of having the R2 router, you only have the client. All right, the client will dial to the R1 router. Okay, so this is side to side. The setup is not very hard. I have a guide over here. Okay, so yeah, this one is the description. So in this network, R1 router is connected to the internet through Ether 1. Okay, and then you have R2, R1 have their own LAN network. Okay, so R1 will become the PPTP server. Okay, and R2 will become the PPTP client. All right, so the focus here is you want PPTP client on R2 router who can access the R1 router. Okay, so this is our focus. So when you're doing VPN on a MikroTik router, so you have two parts of configuration. First is the R1 router. So R1 router will be your VPN server. All right, so this one is the VPN server and this one is your VPN client. Okay, so you need to configure both router. Okay, so let us go through. The first configuration is from your R1 router, your VPN server. All right, so you need to enable the PPP. We not go through the basic configuration of MikroTik. Okay, I'll skip to this one. All right, so you need to configure the PPP server on your R1 router. Okay, so if you go through your Winbox, okay, so under interface here, okay, and under PPP, you need to enable the PPTP server. All right. Okay, so this is how you enable your R1 router as the VPN server, PPTP server. So you just tick enable and apply. Okay, so that's how you enable. All right, and then the next thing you need to do is you need to create username and password for the R2 router who later will dial into your R1 router. So you need to authenticate the R2 router. All right, so you need to create a username and password. So what you need to do is you go to the PPP, you need to create a secret. Okay, so before you create, you need to create a profile first. You don't need you create a secret first. You add in. So let's say you create a secret. Okay, then you create a password. Okay, okay. Service, you can just leave it for any, or you can select PPTP. So it doesn't matter this one. All right, then you need to add in. You need to assign a virtual IP address so that when the R2 router connected, they will get the virtual IP address. Okay, so you need to add in local address is the R1 router, put virtual IP address for R1 router and okay, so let me just go through back the diagram. Okay, so you have this one. So you see here you create one virtual IP for your R1, this one, okay, and then your auto router also will be having a virtual IP, right? So you assign one virtual IP, okay. So local address is the R1 virtual IP, for example, okay. So what's the IP again? Okay, 222. Okay, this one is just for example, because I don't have uh, so what happen is when you R2 will get virtual IP, right? They will get this IP, okay, right? So we just apply, okay. I get disconnected again. Better log in because I'm logged in using my address, so I will get disconnected always. So I need to log in using IP. So I go back and again. Okay, so I have one secret that I will be using for the R2 later. All right. So also you need to add the static route, all right, to reach the R2 route. Okay. If not, you cannot ping the network behind the R2. So you need to add a static route. Okay. 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 So how you put it is like this. This is how you put the route. So what happened is, if you didn't put this route, okay, if you didn't put this route, R1 local network cannot access the R2 local network. So you see here, the LAN for R2 is 10.10.11.0. Okay, so you need to add in the static route. So when the VPN is established, R1 can access over the R2 router and to its local network. Okay, if you didn't add this one, R1 can only ping up to the R2 router, only up to the R2 router. It cannot ping beyond the R2 router. So you need to add the static gateway in the secret. All right. Okay. So you need to add this one. Okay. So this one. Okay. So you need to add the gateway for the R2 router. Okay. So you edit back this one. Okay. You put the route. So gateway for the R2 router is 10.11.0/24, and then the format is the segment for the R2, all right, the LAN segment for the R2, and then the remote address of the R2. Okay. Okay. 172.22, and then the distance. All right. So you put distance 1. Okay. So this is what you need to do. Okay. So that's it. You create the VPN, the secret for the VPN user. But this one is example of using static IP. You want to assign a local static IP. You can also use profile if you want to create a pool for your VPN user. Also, you can create pool for your VPN user. If you have a pool, all right, you can use pool. Right? But for this example, I want to make it secure. So I just assign virtual static IP for my VPN user. I don't want they're using any other IP. Okay, so this is what you do. Okay, Okay, so done. You already configured your PPTP server. So it's very simple. You enable the PPP. All right, you enable the PPP server type. You enable, and then you create a secret username and password for your user, and then you assign the virtual IP. Right. If you don't want to use the virtual IP, you can also use local pool. All right, but you need to set up the profile here. All right, to create a profile, and then don't forget also to create the route so that your VPN from this one router 1 will be reachable to the router 2 local network. All right, so this route you need to add. Okay, so this is the PPTP server part. Okay, so if you go to the router 2 configuration, all right, is this one is much more simpler. All right, so since your R2 will become the VPN client, so what you need to do is on the router 2, so you imagine this one is router 2, right? What you need to do is you go to interface, you add in, since we are using PPTP client, so you add in new interface, PPTP client, and then you put a name and you dial out. All right, how you dial out is if your R1 is having public IP, so you dial your R1 using public IP. For example, this one R1 is using static IP, so you add in, or you can use DDNS. All right, so you must have public access to your R1 router so that your R2 can the link can be established over VPN. All right, so you need to dial in, all right, to your R1 router. All right, just for example here, 168.30.2 for example, and then you key in the username and password based on what you have set up in your R1. Okay, so that's how you dial in. So once you dial in, you can see the status down here. If it is established, the status will be connected, running and connected. Okay, so that's how you dial in for VPN client, but you need to add some configuration so that, like I said before, in router 1, you add in a route to so that local router 1 can access the local router 2. Same here in the router 2, you need to add some route so that from router 2 can access the local of router 1. Okay, so how you add, you need to you add the under route. Let me just show you. Okay, so this one, okay, okay. Later I will share you this slide. Okay, okay, okay. This part. Okay, static route configuration. Okay, so by default, even though you establish the connection, router 2 can only access router 1, but not local network. So you need to add in a gateway for the user to access the router 1 local network. So you go to IP, you go to the route. Okay, you add in a new route. All right, so the destination address you see here. Okay, the destination address will be your you want to reach the R1 router, which is the R1 router will be 10.10.10.0. Okay, so destination is 10.10.10.0, and then the gateway you select the VPN interface as your gateway. Okay, you select the VPN gateway. So by doing this, now router 2 from its local network can ping router 1 network to its local network. All right, what we do previously on router 1 is so that the router 1 local network can ping the router 2 local network. Okay, so that's it. That's how you configure the VPN. Okay, if I want to show you, I have one VPN in my office. If I want to try, let me just, okay. Oh. So this is my main router. So okay, I have this one, my main router, and I have this one is I have a VPN configured. So I have here I have enable, I think, PPTP. Yes, this is have PPTP. So they already create one profile. So I have this profile. So how I dial as a VPN client, this is how I dial. So I add interface. So I add in PPTP client. Okay, so I need to dial, like I said, on the router one, you need to dial the public IP of the WAN IP of your router one. So let's say my main router, the PPP router is having IP 0.1. So I just 168.0.1. So I put in username. So okay, my VPN type I'm using profile. So I have a pool for the PPT user. I didn't assign local virtual IP address. Okay, so I go back to here. So I dial in here. Okay, so you see here the status will be connected. Okay, so this is how you dial in, and you can see in my VPN server, I can see my secret running here. Okay, so and I get IP based on what they gave me. Okay, for if you see the secret here, so they gave me IP 0.95. So if I go to IP addresses, I will get IP 0.95. Okay. Okay, so this is how you, so from my R2 router, I can access the local network of the R1 router. Same goes to the R1 router, they can access whatever I have beyond my R2 router. Right, so this is the simplest setup of site-to-site VPN. Okay, yep, that's it. That's about it. It's very simple. If you just follow the slide, you can easily understand on how to configure it. Okay, the same thing if you are using L2TP. Let's say you have same thing. If you are using L2TP, also is the similar thing. L2TP is similar to PPTP. SSTP, you need to have certificate. Same goes to OpenVPN. You need to have the certificate and the client software if you're using client. Okay, all right. So you see here, you have to have the certificate. Okay, all right. The simplest you can do is PPTP and L2TP. All right. Okay. Yep. I think that's all. Anything you want to ask about VPN? Any question? How to configure use profile? Oh, it's the same thing. It's just that when you have the profile, okay, if you have a profile, where is the profile? Okay, let me just go through. If you use the profile, so first I create a pool for my PPTP user because I don't want to assign a static IP to them. Pool here, I create a pool for my VPN user. So I allocate some IP, which is this one is not virtual IP. Okay, so I create one IP range for my PPTP user, and then on my PPP setup, I create a profile. So I just select the local address and the remote address as the pool user, or the DHCP pool user. Okay, and then that's it. Once you set up this profile, when you create a secret for your user, you just remember to select the profile as the profile that you create before. Okay, all right. This is how you use the profile. Okay. Anything else? If you have the DDNS, so the DNS will be used on your client. You can just dial your VPN server using the DDNS. So you remember when you set up the VPN client, okay, right? Okay, so this is where you put the DNS. For example, my office, the DNS is this is how you just dial your DNS. So which means this DNS is point to my R1 router. All right, for the cases that you don't have a static public IP, so you use the DNS. Even if your MikroTik is using PPPOE, all right, you use PPPOE. You can use this free DNS by MikroTik. Okay, you can also use this one. All right, only if your R1 router is doing the PPPOE. All right, so you can use this one. So it's the same thing, right? So you can use this one. Right. Let me check if I can dial in, because this one is I'm using locally. Not sure if I can. I don't have the happy net. I cannot. I don't have the. Sorry, this one is L2TP. So, let me just try. Yeah, I can because I'm accessing locally. So I dial in using my DDNS instead of using public IP. So for cases that you don't have static public IP, then you need to use DDNS. So doesn't matter, you can use the free DDNS by MikroTik only if you use the PPPoE connection on your MikroTik, or if you want to use other DNS, then you have to create a script to use other DDNS in MikroTik. Okay, right? Oh, yeah, you just, I don't have, I think if you refer to, they have some guide on that, to the IPsec, you just need to enable the IPsec, okay? You just need to enable the IPsec. And if you go to, let me just go here, all right? Okay, so you need to enable the, I think, no, not P2P, IPTP. I don't have. I think I can share you one link on how to enable with IPsec. Okay. Okay, I have that one. I will share you later. Right. You just the same setup. We just enable the secret for the IPsec. Right. That's it. I can share you that one. Any fee if you use MikroTik DDNS? No, no fee. But you have to use PPPoE connection on your MikroTik, right? So I have this IPsec because I this one. Okay, alright. Like this one, they have some they have some guide. You can also refer to this one. Okay. Let me just go to the website. I'm not sure they don't have you don't have the guide. They don't have the step by step. I need to find the guide, and then maybe I'll share with you. Okay. You don't have the guide. Okay. Yes, no fee. Using MikroTik DNS, no fee. It's free, but you cannot create the DNS name. Dia akan jadi random. Alright. So any limitation on number of sales? Yes, limitation is based on your license level. Alright, if you go to license level, you check your MikroTik license level. So how you check is you go to system, you go to license, you see your level. Alright, this one is level 5. Then you check the table for licensing. So you see here the tunnel. Alright, it's based mostly is on the tunnel. Alright, for example, let me just this part. Okay, the tunnel. Okay, you see here. So if you're using level 5 and 6, so you have more tunnel. Alright, but 4 and 3, mostly the router license level is 4. So starting from 4, so it has limitation up to 200 connection. Okay, so you take note how many tunnel you want to use and what is your router OS license level. Okay, right. Okay. Anything else?
Hello.
Yo.
I have any question. Why the user that just now you just said in the VPN? In your configuration, I just see just your presentation in PPPO client for the secrets. I want one user for the VPN.
Okay.
And access for 10 people.
Oh, the same username.
Can you show me how to? Yes, for the same username.
That one. Wait. Let me just check if I can.
Thank you.
Okay. Wait. Let me just check. I think no issue. If I create just one username and I specify the IP, I cannot add it another user. Okay, we can do a test here, but because I also never tried this one. Okay, let's say I have this one, my client interface. Let me just dial using this MikroTik client. This one, okay. Okay, this one I'm running. So let me just open another MikroTik. Just test this one. Okay, I have another one here. We just check what happened when we have two username. Okay, so I'm already connected. So I have another router here. Okay, if I connected, okay, yes, I can have multiple connection using the same username. This one also, I'm still connected. I'm still connected here. Okay, this one. So I have two connection. All right. So doesn't matter because I'm giving virtual IP. So doesn't matter. So both my MikroTik is having this one. Let me check the other one. Okay, so I'm still having another virtual IP. So yes, you can. I'm still connected with two connection using the same username. Two user accessing the same username. So yes, you can. Okay. All right. But to limit, I don't know. I'm not sure if you can limit. Doesn't mention anything about limiting the connection. Maybe some script, maybe some firewall rules to do that. Maybe I'm not sure. I need to study that one also. Okay. All right. Anything else? If not, I'm going to end my session here. Okay. I need to delete this one. Nothing? If nothing, that's all from me. Thank you. I hope you have some knowledge on how to use the VPN. Right? Please try to refer to some forum. Maybe if you have some advanced configuration, try to open the forum and maybe you can follow from there. All right? That's all from me. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.